pants on and that black helmet, and they put that insignia. And, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get it's going to be 4 quarters of smash mouth football. And you and I have been together many years, and we talk about the morning after effect after you play the Pittsburgh Steelers, who's usually battered and bruised. You may come out with a win, but you will be battered and bruised after this game.
Tim McGee's with us. And, Tim, I was 15 years old. I'm 70 now. I was 15 years old when Chuck Noll became head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1969. They've had 3 coaches in, 55 years? Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. The winning is just so embedded in this franchise, it's incredible.
Well, not only the winning part, is you look at the stability. I mean, you look at Mike Tomlin, all the years as he's coaching, hadn't had a losing record. That is, simply amazing because we know there was years that he did not have a lot of talent around him, and he still got a winning record or a tie record out of those guys, and with very minimum talent. You know what you're going to get. There's going to be no surprises. They're not going to come out and be fancy schmancy. They're going to come out in this particular game, and they're just going to try to establish the run. They're going to throw the ball when needed, and they're going to mix it up a little bit. They're going to rely on their defense. And like I said, you got 2 contrasting styles that's going to be going at it at 8 o'clock.
And Tim McGee, first time around this year, Russell Wilson throws for 414 yards and 3 touchdowns. Steelers win a shootout 44-38. That was back on December 1. And 110 yards of those 400 were just over the line of scrimmage to the running backs, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, and Cordarrelle Patterson. How shocked were you by that score and by the way they played?
The way they played was just totally out of body experience for them. It was totally out of character. That's not that team. Again, that team is a ball control defense, puts you in the right positions, old school football, not getting caught up in scoring 40 points. And again, they just had an out of body experience that day where everything went right. And on the offensive side, and I tell you, just as we are complimenting the offense, the defense giving up that many points was also a surprise. So the way they won the game is totally uncharacteristic of the way they're built to win football games. But a good team, a good organization find ways to win. A bad team and bad organization, they find ways to lose.
Tim, the level of play for Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. Gosh, what can you say? It's just off the charts. Awesome. And if this team doesn't make the playoffs, what a waste of great seasons by 3 incredible players sitting home for the holidays.
Well, I look at it a little bit different. I don't think it's a waste of their abilities. I think we're equating 2 different things. We're running 2 different components of the football team and the game together. We're going the individual talent of Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. And then we're talking about the other side of it is, does that equate to wins? 3 guys, as you can see, no matter how well they play, how just awesome they are, that still doesn't mean they're going to win a football game, because a football game is comprised of 3 different components: offense, defense, and special teams. And there's so many ways you can win and lose a football game. And when you throw all your money and your resources on the offensive side, yes, it is one spectacular entertainment show, but that don't necessarily equate to wins in the National Football League. So this isn't the NBA where you're going to outscore. There's just going to be times where they can score 38 points, and we just gave a great example, and the Steelers outscore them. So, you got to have more of a balanced team and more balance from all 3 phases of the football team to really come out and be victorious. You look at Baltimore, you look at Kansas City. You're not just talking about their great quarterback, but they play some defense, and they have a running game. They have good offensive line, good defensive line. The Bengals are just totally imbalanced right now.
And Tim McGee's with us. And Tim, how realistic in your mind is the Bengals' ability to keep these 3 kings together going forward?
I think, be careful what you ask for. And this is kind of, as people ask my opinion, I share these thoughts by be careful what you ask for, because if you're asking them to put more resources into Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I wish that would happen, don't get me wrong, but, consequently, don't expect the defense to be very good. Yes, they have one of the best defensive coordinators in the National Football League, but he's going to need some talent. And you're not going to be able to go out and sign T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and then bring in, say, per se, a corner and a defensive line and impact players on the defensive side of the ball. They're not right there to win a Super Bowl, so they may not even make the playoffs. So it's a very tough decision that they're going to make in the offseason on do they want to continue to entertain or do they want to win football games. And I don't think you can have a offensive-minded roster and all your resources, or most of your resources, I would say, and then neglect the defense and expect to win. I don't see that happening.
It's going to be chilly tonight in Pittsburgh. Mainly cloudy, snow showers. Chance of snow is 60%. A low of 16 degrees. Winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Oh, my goodness, Tim. What's it like to play in those conditions?
You block it out, but you block it out once the game starts. Cold is cold. Every single player there has already been in that environment before. They've played in 0-degree weather. They played in sleet and sun and 90. And I always say playing in cold weather is not as hard as playing in, say, Denver or Miami when you're coming down to Miami, Florida, and it's 85 degrees and it's below 0 or 20 degrees in Cincinnati, Ohio, or in the Midwest or East, whatever it may be. That's much harder because you can barely breathe. Playing in cold weather is it's just an inconvenience and you're uncomfortable, but the game doesn't change and you're not short-winded, you're not cramping up, you're not faced with a lot of different set of problems that going from a cold weather environment to a warm weather environment. Hey, let's just face it, Pittsburgh is only three hours away, so it's not like the Bengals are traveling, down to Miami, Florida, or out in Denver. I think that would be the sizable difference.
The Steelers have come back down to earth. They scored 44 points against the Bengals on December 1, but in their 3 straight losses, they've scored a total of 40 points. So, Tim, just looking at this schedule tonight and then tomorrow's games, I believe that the Kansas City Chiefs, even though they're going to start Carson Wentz and play probably a lot of backups, you still don't want to go out with a loss. So I'm expecting the Kansas City Chiefs and their backups to play well and possibly beat the Denver Broncos. It's not because they're going to lay down.
You know what? I don't think anyone, because Carson Wentz is playing for an opportunity to be a starter, so I think that's a huge plus for the yes. Bengals. But consequently, let's just face it. If you have ever been inside the locker room, the number one concern you do approach a game like that, like a preseason game. It's like, listen, whatever happens, don't get hurt. We would love to win. We would love to compete. Obviously, anytime we put our uniforms on, our main goal is to win the football game. However, the bigger picture is I need you guys to be healthy. And now I give my starters, my key players, not just 1 week, but potentially, 2 weeks to rest. And now they're going to come back fresh. So, I see some pros and cons in that, Chick, but for the most part, I know inside the locker room, they're looking at this as an exhibition game that pretty much don't get hurt, don't worry about it, don't put that extra effort in as if this was a playoff game.
Tim McGee's with us for just another minute here. And Tim, some roster moves here. The Bengals signed a running back off the practice squad, Kendall Milton, a rookie from Georgia. They've elevated a defensive tackle in Dominic Davis and wide receiver Kendrick Pryor. I'm eager to see, who they sit down here. I don't know how healthy, Amarius Mims is at right tackle. It looks like Orlando Brown's going to play. But nevertheless, it's all hands on deck tonight for the Bengals. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. The playoff starts for the Bengals. The way it started for the Bengals about 3 weeks ago. They just can't afford to have any mishaps, missteps. They got to, you got to put your best 53 out there, and you got to come out with a win. Other teams Pittsburgh's going to play in the playoffs. Their playoff starts maybe next week or the week after that. However, the Bengals playoffs started, 2 weeks ago, and it's going to be that way every game they play. And if they win, they keep moving on. So, they have a chance. They can control what they can control. They can't control Miami losing or winning. They can't control Denver losing or winning. The only thing they can control is what they can do on the football field tonight at 8:00, and they better focus on that and not be looking up at that scoreboard to see who's winning. As a matter of fact, I think they play in play on Sunday anyway, so they got to take care of business. But because they put themselves in this position, so they're compromised. And you may go out, you may beat Pittsburgh, and then one of the teams win, Miami wins or Denver wins, and you're still in the same position.
And, Tim, before I let you go, I know you're paying very close attention to the college football playoffs, and you were not real wild about the 12 teams, the way it all shook out as far as matchups were concerned. All 4 teams that got byes got blown out in that second round, and I really wish Tennessee could have gotten a different draw than the Buckeyes.
Well, you know what? I don't even think that doesn't even bother me, because I truly believe that Ohio State, and I said this several times, Ohio State was the better team. I absolutely despise college football right now. It is terrible. It's horrible. It's a terrible product. And here's the reason it's a terrible product. Why are we calling it college football anymore? It's pro football. The players are getting paid. Ohio State has a $20 million roster. They should win, hopefully will win the national championship. But imagine that in 3 years, they're going to have a $100 million roster. And you're going to have your half and half not. So there is nothing about college football in particular, well, this whole sport in general, that tells me that it's the purity amateur sport that it once was. It's professional football, plain and simple. I don't know why we're fooling ourselves to say it's college football. It's pro football. The players are getting paid. The coaches are getting paid. The fans are paying for them to be paid, and it's only going to continue to trend in a wrong direction if you're an old school head like me that loved the purity of college football. Look at Notre Dame, Chick. Seven transfers on their roster. You look at Ohio State, great game, great talent. I've always said that, so I don't want to take away anything. But I mean, they get the All-American safety from Alabama goes into this transfer portal. And by the way, where the hell is this transfer portal? It's like a spaceship that they just go from team to team, and it's they're 1 year free agents every single year, and they're just looking for more money. And it's just I despise the sport right now.
Tim, great stuff. Really appreciate you. Happy New Year. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Happy New Year to you, Chick. Okay.
And you're listening to the Ralph's American Grill pregame sports talk with your host, Chick Ludwig, presented by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers on Cincinnati's ESPN 1530.
Whether you're tailgating, watching from home, or cheering at the stadium, let's keep the energy high and every game day clean and green. Remember to recycle with Rumpke, the recycling leader and an official trash removal and recycling partner to the Cincinnati Bengals. Learn more at rumpke.com.
Hi, this is Trevor Jones with Robert Jones Plumbing, the world's friendliest plumbers. No job is too big or too small, whether it's a remodel, water leaking, or drains backed up. Give us a call at 513-353-2230. That's Robert Jones Plumbing, 513-353-2230.
This is Hall of Famer Barry Larkin. Black Americans face a higher risk of kidney failure, highlighting the urgent need for more organ donors in our community. Join our mission to save lives. Live, then give. Go to registerme.org today.
Hi, Kevin St. Clair here with my wife, Alyssa St. Clair.
After 3 generations, we're proud to say that we are over 70 years strong.
We're just one big family, so give us a call and let us show you why we are your home's trusted problem solvers.
Ray St. Clair Roofing.
What's up? It's Joe Burrow here. I don't need to tell you how important hydration is, but I'm going to anyway. My choice for getting the electrolytes I need is always Body Armor Sports Drink. It's got all the electrolytes to keep me hydrated with none of those artificial sweeteners.
Pick up Body Armor Sports Drink at Kroger. Craving Penn Station East Coast subs? Skip the line and order online at penn-station.com. Get your favorite sub with fresh cut fries and fresh squeezed lemonade. Visit penn-station.com.
Febreze. Fabric Talk.
Hello, my love. I am your living room carpet. I see everything. I feel everything. After a while, I smell like everything, including Sir Pickles, who you snuggle with while binging that dating show you can't stop watching. So, how about we freshen things up with Febreze Fabric Spray? Oh, and a big spray for my pals, couch and ottoman. Ah, yes, refreshing. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Bill Cunningham for Joseph Chevrolet. How about you getting GM employee pricing right now on all new 2024 Chevrolets at Joseph Chevrolet, the top name in town? Together, let's drive. Ask neighbor, friends, and family like me. We've all bought from Joseph Chevrolet in Coleraine and josephchevrolet.com.
Just like the gridiron needs precision plays and a solid defense, so does your business. Vitus Technologies delivers winning IT and cybersecurity solutions to small and medium-sized businesses. Learn more at TotalProSource.com/stripes. Protect, advance, and win with Vitus Technologies, a ProSource company.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
News, traffic, and weather. This is a Game Day News Update.
Electing the Speaker of the House with the 4:30 report. I'm Taron Johnson. Breaking now, House Speaker Mike Johnson pulling out a victory at the last minute and retaining the gavel yesterday, but it was only by a thin margin and required an assist from the president-elect. ABC's Jay O'Brien explains.
One Republican Congressman, Thomas Massey, a longtime Johnson critic, made it clear he was a firm no. But two other Republican holdouts, Congressman Ralph Norman of South Carolina and Keith Self of Texas, joining Massey, voting against Johnson. Johnson then pulling the two off the floor and into a private room before the vote was officially closed and getting on the phone with President-elect Donald Trump. Norman and Self ultimately returning and changing their votes, putting Johnson over the goal line.
Now for a look at the latest traffic and weather together. We are seeing some slow-moving spots across our tri-state interstates and highways at the moment. An accident on the right shoulder, 7175 south at Buttermilk Pike. We're also seeing some slow-moving traffic on 7175 north, starting at the ramp from I-275 on up through Beechwood Road, Buttermilk Pike. We're also seeing our usual slow go in and around downtown Cincinnati, and that construction on 275 west, right over the bridge leading from Kentucky to Indiana has traffic backed up all the way back to North Bend Road.
Now the latest forecast from the Train Heating and Cooling Weather Center on News Radio 700 WLW.
Dry day as temperatures top out in the mid to upper 20s with sunny skies, all ahead of the winter storm that moves in tomorrow. Snow will start falling in the later morning hours, really stacking up in the afternoon. We're tracking several inches of snow and maybe even some freezing rain. All of it will be very impactful for your Sunday and your Monday. From your severe weather station, I'm 9 First Warning meteorologist Cameron Harden on News Radio 700 WLW.
Taking a look at the forecast for tonight's game, featuring your Cincinnati Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. It will be blustery and cold in the Steel City. Highs today in the mid-20s. Not expecting any snow, and our lows down in the mid-teens. This game day forecast thanks to Arling House Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electric. Right now, we're seeing sunny skies with a temperature of 29 degrees here in the tri-state. Well, Jake Wagner and his mother Angela will likely not see each other for the next 3 decades. Our own Rick Ucchino explains why.
Bonds of Satan, you and your brother.
That woman waited nearly a decade to see her daughter's killer be punished. It was sentencing day Friday in Pike County over the murders of 8 members of the Roden family nearly 9 years ago. Angela Wagner given 30 years for helping plan the execution-style killings, and Jake Wagner received 8 life sentences for carrying them out. But he will be eligible for parole in 2056. He came clean about the murder plot and testified against his brother, who is serving life in prison with no chance for parole, and the judge believed he deserved a break for that.
I'm not going to sign off on a deal where you get the same for cooperating as your brother does for going to trial.
Judge Jonathan Hine, not part of the original plea deal. I'm Rick Ucchino, News Radio 700 WLW.
Across the country, the casket that's carrying the remains of former President Jimmy Carter is moving across Georgia today. It left the medical center this morning and will end the day at the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library in Atlanta. ABC's Steve Usansami says Carter will lie in repose at the Carter Center Sunday and Monday before the casket moves to the U.S. Capitol Tuesday, where he'll lie in state through Wednesday.
So we know that the president is speaking. We expect to see
At least the last reports that I've seen is that all of the current presidents will be at that state funeral. This is the final goodbye. This is the large goodbye in Washington, D.C. after a public visitation at the U.S. Capitol.
Our next update comes your way at 5 o'clock. I'm Taryn Johnson, News Radio 700 WLW.
Tony Pike here, and I'm thrilled to partner with Pella Windows and Doors of Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. Like me, Pella goes beyond strength, beauty, and durability. With unmatched passion and precision, they craft every window and door just for your home. PellaWindowsCincinnati.com. Build something great.
Little Miami Brewing will keep you warm all winter long, whether you're enjoying the indoors, sitting outside next to a fire pit, or under one of the heaters next to the Little Miami River. And be sure to enjoy one of my favorite craft beers and fill up with a delicious sandwich or freshly made soup. It's also a great place to meet and watch your favorite team. Their event center also has great concerts all winter long. Check out the lineup and get your tickets at littlemiamibrewing.com. Little Miami Brewing in downtown historic Milford.
Hey, it's Tony Pike here, and I gotta say, my new Cadillac Escalade from Cincinnati Cadillac is a showstopper. Right now, Ted Reedy is offering a showstopper of his own with savings up to $14,000 on special event 2024 Cadillac Escalades. You too can drive like a quarterback when you shop Cincinnati Cadillac. We are Cincinnati.
The smarter way to treat your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Honest Expert Plumbing is just a click away. Nixco Plumbing offers online scheduling for residential and commercial plumbing service in the greater Cincinnati area. We provide 5-star service, including drain cleaning. Schedule your service now at nixcoplumbing.com.
Looking to earn more with your checking account? Kemba has the answer. Get Green Checking pays you up to $45 a month. It's as simple as using your debit card, viewing e-statements, and logging into online or mobile banking. Open your account today and earn up to $45 a month with Kemba. For details and qualifications, visit Kemba.com. That's KEMBA.com. APY equals annual percentage yield. Monthly example based on earning 4% APY on a daily balance of $15,000 throughout a 28-day qualification cycle and meeting all qualifications. Rate subject to change. Insured by NCUA.
Hot in one room and cold in the next? No ductwork? No problem. Carrier Ductless Systems will bring enhanced heating and cooling to your home. Go to Carrier.com today to find a Carrier dealer that can recommend the right ductless solution for you. Carrier, turn to the experts.
Anthony Munoz here, your number one player, cheering on my number one automotive teammate, Rose Automotive. Rose is number one in service and value because they value you as their teammate. Find your way to Hamilton and Rose Automotive. Anthony Munoz here, your number one player, cheering on my number one Chevy GMC teammate, Larkin Cobb. Larkin Cobb is number one in service and value because they value you as their teammate. Find New Rosa Eaton and Larkin Cobb.
Help save lives in our community by donating blood or platelets this December with Hawksworth Blood Center, University of Cincinnati. All donors receive our exclusive jogger pants. Hawksworth has 7 locations across the greater Cincinnati area, making it convenient for you to donate and save lives. A few minutes of your day can mean a lifetime for someone in need. Schedule your donation today at hawksworth.org or 513-451-0910.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. Babbel is designed with you in mind. From expert-created lessons to conversational video units and even live classes, you can personalize your Babbel experience to be exactly what you need to really learn a new language more easily. Go ahead, set a goal for yourself. Accomplish it with Babbel. Try Babbel for free. Go to BABBEL.com. That's Babbel.com.
You are listening to the Ralph's American Grill pregame sports talk presented by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers with your host, Chick Ludwig. And I'm with you until 6:30 tonight, and we will be simulcast with 700 WLW joining in after the UC Arizona basketball coverage concludes. And right now, Arizona, last I checked, was holding a 64-61 lead with just under 2 minutes to go against the Bearcats. So come on, UC, let's close this thing out. Well, let's check today's player spotlight. Brought to you by Furniture Fair. Get the guaranteed low price or it's free at Furniture Fair for tonight's Bengals-Steelers game. And I hope you don't mind me saying players with an S spotlight, because the offensive line has to play its best game tonight for the Cincinnati Bengals. Left to right, Orlando Brown, Cody Ford, Ted Karras, Alex Kappa, and hopefully Amarius Mims at right tackle. If Mims can't go, Devin Cochran will likely get the nod. And we will see what the inactives are a little bit later as we get closer to kickoff here, but several Bengals are listed as questionable. Halfback Chase Brown, wide receiver T. Higgins, wide receiver Charlie Jones, offensive tackle Amarius Mims, tight end Drew Sample, and cornerback Cam Taylor-Britt. But it looks like Higgins will be good to go, but Chase Brown could very well be a game-time decision. And to attempt to fortify that position at running back, the Bengals have called up from the practice squad Kendall Milton, a rookie from Georgia. So, and just looking at the depth chart behind Chase Brown, you've got Travion Williams, you've got Khalil Herbert, and now Kendall Milton. So it could very well be, if Brown cannot go full blast tonight, it could very well be running back by committee. But no matter who is toting the pig for the Bengals tonight, it's going to be huge to establish some sort of running game. Now, we know what the Bengals' identity is. They're a passing team. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult tonight playing in 16-degree weather with 60% chance of snow in Pittsburgh. So even if it's running back by committee with Travion Williams, Khalil Herbert, and Kendall Milton, hey, the Bengals are going to have to establish some kind of running game, and that will help quarterback Joe Burrow out. So tonight's player spotlight, the offensive line, keeping Joe Burrow protected and opening some holes for this running game. And once again, Orlando Brown, Cody Ford, Ted Karras, Alex Kappa, and Amarius Mims. And if Mims can't go, it sure looks like a Devin Cochran will get the nod. So it's going to be a tall task for the Cincinnati Bengals tonight, because no team wants to go out with a loss in my mind. And even though Pittsburgh is already solid for a postseason berth, they can win the division with a victory tonight and a Baltimore Ravens loss to the visiting Cleveland Browns. I don't think that's going to happen. So part of the intrigue tonight is to see how both teams respond. Can the Bengals rise up and overcome what happened back on December 1st when they gave up 44 points to the Pittsburgh Steelers in a 44-38 loss? These games, like Tim McGee said, smash mouth, physical, and the Pittsburgh Steelers try to hurt you with their tackling. The last time we saw Russell Wilson throw for 414 yards, 110 yards passing to the running backs on dump passes over the line of scrimmage. And the Bengals also missed double-digit tackles. I want to see the Bengals line up, play physical, play downhill, and let the chips fall where they may tonight. Because all hands on deck, there's no tomorrow if you lose this game. So, as skilled as the Bengals are at winning their home finales, like they did last week in overtime against the Denver Broncos, the Pittsburgh Steelers are equally as skilled winning their home finales, and we'll talk to Jay Morrison a little bit about that a little later on. You are listening to the Rouse American Grill pregame sports talk presented by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers on Cincinnati's ESPN, the home of the Bengals.
Toyotathon is still growing strong at Joseph Toyota. Check out our 2024 Tacoma Gas and Hybrid, 4.99% plus $1,000 retail cash. Visit us today at Joseph Toyota on Coleraine. Ask your neighbors. They bought from us.
Trust 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning to help keep your heater running strong. Call 855-1HOUR or visit onehourair.com.
Always on time or you don't pay time.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
The best players make the game look easy. And when it comes to bathroom remodeling, so does Rebath. Take $1,500 off a bath or tub for an effortless transformation. 0% financing. Remove, replace. Rebath.com.
Hey, it's Mo Egger. This football season, post up at Long Neck Sports Grill. No place has a better beer selection. And if you haven't tried Long Neck's wings yet, what are you waiting for? The menu is extensive, and there's a ton of 4K TVs all over the place. And remember, at Long Necks, the sound is on for all the big games. College or pro, this football season, make Long Necks your go-to spot for every game. Wilder, Hebron, and Richwood, Long Neck Sports Grill. Stay long, come often.
From the Wyoming Air Tempstar Weather Center, here's your forecast.
Staying clear and cold through the rest of Saturday and into the overnight tonight. Clouds start to build back in as temperatures only drop down towards 20 degrees. Winds light overnight, but that'll change as we head on into Sunday. Clouds roll in Sunday morning along with snow showers as early as 10 to 11 a.m., picking up through the afternoon and evening, and then overnight heavy snow into Monday morning. Most areas should see 8 to 12 inches of snow with higher ice totals south of the Ohio River. That's your forecast. I'm 9 First Warning meteorologist Brandon Spinner.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
What's the trashiest colors you can think of? Black and yellow. That reminds me, you can get rid of your garbage with Driveway Dumpsters. Order now at ddumpsters.com. Driveway Dumpsters, the best dumpster for your dollar.
O'Reilly.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's football season, so tackle Old Man Winter with Corcoran and Harnessed, your expert carrier dealer, keeping you comfortable with the right equipment, service, and financing. Call 513-921-2227. Corcoran and Harnessed, the name to trust.
4:48 in the Queen City of Cincinnati. Chick Ludwig, Cincinnati's ESPN 1530, the home of the Bengals. And you are listening to the Ralph's American Grill pregame sports talk presented by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. It's the Bengals and Steelers colliding tonight in the final regular season game of the 2024 season. Yeah, Happy New Year. And it's time to salute the Performer of the Week, brought to you by Zimmer Tractor, the home of the Tri-State's largest Kubota inventory. 3 locations, Monroe, Brookville, and Aurora, and online at ZimmerTractor.com. And by Crown Royal, the official whiskey of the Bengals. It's not a kickoff without Crown Royal. Follow the Royal Rig for a taste of the generous spirit and the chance to win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly. And the Performer of the Week in that incredible victory by the Bengals over the Denver Broncos in overtime. T. Higgins, 11 catches, 131 yards, and 3 touchdowns, including the game winner in OT from 3 yards out from Joe Burrow. T. Higgins combining with Jamar Chase got to be the top 2 wide receivers in the National Football League. Jamar with the Triple Crown going. 117 catches, 1,612 yards, 16 touchdowns for Jamar. But T was the man last week, and I believe tonight what you're going to see, the Steelers' best corner covering T. Higgins. And then the Steelers will attempt to bracket Jamar Chase. Maybe vice versa. One of the 2 wideouts for the Bengals is going to get single coverage. The other is going to get bracketed because the Steelers are skilled at taking away your best weapon. And then they're going to pressure Joe Burrow. Joe, with 4,641 yards, 42 touchdowns against 8 interceptions. Wow. So we're saluting the performer of the week in the Bengals' victory over the Denver Broncos in T. Higgins. And now let's check the keys to today's game, brought to you by Cincinnati Asphalt, where precision paves the way. I mentioned earlier the player spotlight, the offensive line. Okay? Protect your number 1 investment, the face of the franchise, Joe Burrow. Get him protected. Get him protected and open holes for your running backs, because a quarterback's best friend is a running game. Then you can do play action, get down the field. So protect Joe, protect the ball. Ball security, huge against the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially in these severe weather conditions. And then end every drive with a kick. Field goal, an extra point after a touchdown. And folks, I don't know how many times I have to say this, a punt is not a bad thing, especially with Ryan Rico having a phenomenal season as an undrafted rookie out of BYU. Those are the keys to today's game: protecting Joe, protecting the ball, and ending every drive with a kick. And I mentioned this to Tim McGee earlier, and he talked about the continuity of the Steelers franchise. Tonight's game is the 111th meeting between these two franchises. They played twice, and that includes playing twice in the postseason, both Pittsburgh victories. Pittsburgh leads this series 71-39. That's just incredible for these two rivals. And like I mentioned, Chuck Noll took over as the Steelers head coach in 1969. And in 55 years, this franchise has had only 3 coaches: Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin has never endured, in 17 seasons, has never endured a losing season. Back when we played 16 games, yes, he was 500 a couple times. Never a losing season. That speaks to the continuity. And like I mentioned, winning is so embedded in this franchise, even with mediocre teams, they find a way to win. Hey, after the top of the hour, we're going to go down to Orlando, Florida, and welcome in Reggie Williams, Bengals legendary linebacker. Because way back when, 42 years ago, 1982, January 3rd, the Bengals won their first playoff game, defeating the Buffalo Bills at Riverfront Stadium. Ken Anderson to Chris Collinsworth. Touchdown, the difference in that game. Charles Alexander, a couple of touchdown runs. Bo Harris, a critical interception in that game. Reggie's going to relive some of those moments for us after the top of the hour. At 5:35, Jay Morrison, who covers the Cincinnati Bengals for Bengals on SI, Bengals on Sports Illustrated. He's going to join us. He is a stat cat extraordinaire. And he's going to tell us just how good the Pittsburgh Steelers are at winning their final home game of the season. The Bengals are 12-1 in their last 13 home finales, but the Steelers, they like to send them home happy too. So Jay's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. And at the top of the 6 o'clock hour, man, we're going to go back to him and welcome in senior writer, Bengals.com, Jeff Hobson. And for a lowdown, we'll get all. I want to get the injury report and just find out the game time decisions. And like I mentioned, several players for the Cincinnati Bengals listed as questionable. Halfback Chase Brown, wide receiver T. Higgins, wide receiver Charlie Jones, right offensive tackle Amarius Mims, and tight end Drew Sample, and cornerback Cam Taylor-Britt with the ankle. So Cam Taylor-Britt had limited participation on Thursday. Sample did not participate all week with a groin injury. Amarius Mims was limited on Tuesday and Wednesday. He did not participate on Thursday. He's got an ankle and his hand injury. So he's questionable. And Charlie Jones has been out forever with that groin. But he had limited participation on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. T. Higgins, they have to be very careful with his ankle and his knee and all his other issues, his calf and his groin, you name it. Limited participation for T on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It looks like he will be able to go. And halfback Chase Brown with the ankle. And last week, Chase Brown had the right idea, going down at the 1 yard line in an attempt to kill some more time off the clock against the Denver Broncos. But in doing so, his leg got trapped under him, and he suffered an ankle injury. And that caused the Bengals to call a timeout, and Denver was able to hang on to their final timeout. So Chase Brown did not participate on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. He is questionable. It looks like he is going to be a game time decision. And once again, I am with you. We're going all the way to 6:30, and we will be joined by 700 WLW after the UC-Arizona basketball game. And then the Cincinnati Bengals radio network takes over these airwaves at 6:30 with your host, Wayne Boxmiller, the countdown to kickoff, and then Dan Horde and Dave Lapham with all the play-by-play and the analysis from Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh. And once again, man, the weather report for tonight looks a little ominous. Cloudy with snow showers this evening. Low of 16 degrees. Winds west at 10 to 20 miles an hour. The chance of snow is 60%. I like to say I've got my coffee. I've got my computer. All I need is you. It is so awesome to have you listening in. All the chick magnets out there coming out of the woodwork. And a big-time appreciation for Liam Tomlinson, my producer till 5 o'clock tonight. And then Drew Westerheide will take the baton from Liam. So, great to be with you tonight, getting you ready for the Bengals and Steelers 8 o'clock kickoff from Acrisure Stadium. And you're listening to the Ralph's American Grill pregame sports talk presented by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places on the home of the Bengals, Cincinnati's ESPN 1530.
This is where the orange and black play.
Right for the goal line. Touchdown! Bengals!
WLW. WCKY, Cincinnati. News, traffic, and weather. This is a Game Day News Update.
Learning more about the man alleged responsible for the terror attack in New Orleans. With a 5 o'clock report, I'm Taryn Johnson. Breaking now, investigators are combing through the physical and digital footprints of Shamsu Din Jabbar, the man suspected of running down and killing 14 people in New Orleans' French Quarter on New Year's Day. Meanwhile, the FBI now warning other cities of possible copycat attacks. ABC's Christiane Cordero has more.
In New Orleans, the ATF returned to the house that Jabbar rented ahead of the attack, concluding he tried to set a small fire in the hallway in his effort to destroy it and other evidence of his crime. But officials said evidence has been recovered, including bomb-making material. Investigators say that the unexploded IEDs recovered from 2 coolers in the French Quarter were made with a very rare explosive compound that also contained a remote detonation capability.
President Biden and the First Lady are expected to travel to New Orleans on Monday to visit the scene of the deadly truck attack on Bourbon Street. The White House says the president has spoken with families of the victims in the attack. Now for a look at the latest traffic and weather together. We are seeing some slow-moving traffic here this evening, folks. First on 175 northbound, starting right about Donaldson Highway on up through the Brent Spence Bridge. And then we have our usual slow go elsewhere in and around downtown Cincinnati. Our other main problem spot is 275 west due to some road construction that's taking place on the bridge that connects Kentucky and Indiana. On 275 west, our slow-moving traffic starts about North Bend Road and goes on up through the bridge. But other than that, things are looking pretty good across our tri-state interstates and highways.
Now the latest forecast from the Train Heating and Cooling Weather Center on News Radio 700 WLW.
Staying clear and cold through the rest of Saturday and into the overnight tonight. Clouds start to build back in as temperatures only drop down towards 20 degrees. Winds light overnight, but that'll change as we head on into Sunday. Clouds roll in Sunday morning along with snow showers as early as 10 to 11 a.m., picking up through the afternoon and evening, and then overnight heavy snow into Monday morning. Most areas should see 8 to 12 inches of snow with higher ice totals south of the Ohio River. From your severe weather station, I'm 9 First Warning meteorologist Brandon Spinner, News Radio 700 WLW.
Now for a look at our Bengals game day forecast for tonight's monstrous showdown in Pittsburgh against the AFC North rival Steelers. It'll be blustery and cold in the Steel City. Highs today in the mid-20s and our low for tonight dipping down to about 16 degrees. However, not expecting any snow in Pittsburgh. This game day forecast thanks to Arlinghouse Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electric. Right now we're seeing sunny skies with a temperature of 28 degrees. Well, local crews are preparing for this winter storm that is quickly approaching. Matt Reese has the details.
The city of Cincinnati has stockpiled 27,000 tons of salt, 48,000 gallons of salt brine, and has more than 100 snowplow drivers ready to go, with the goal of having city streets passable 24 hours after the final snowfall. Matt Bruning with the team at the Ohio Department of Transportation says, give the trucks room.
Tailgate that plow because we're going to be putting salt down, which you're going to get in your windshield if you're too close. We're pushing snow, which means that we're going to have a snow cloud around that plow, which will reduce visibility if you get too close.
I'm Matt Reese, News Radio 700 WLW.
In other local news, police have arrested a man after a 27-year-old was shot and killed in Mount Echo Park. 25-year-old Rasul Amir Salam was taken into custody Thursday and is charged with murder in connection with a shooting that took place last Saturday just before 8 p.m. Court documents state that 27-year-old Limber Gomez Rivera was driving a car in Mount Echo Park when he crashed into Salam's vehicle. Rivera drove to another area of the park where police say Salam shot him. He was taken to UC Medical Center and rushed into surgery. That's where Rivera wound up passing away. Salam's being held on a $1 million bond. Our next update's at 5:30. I'm Taryn Johnson, News Radio 700 WLW.
Kelsey Chevrolet is the Tri-State's #1 Chevrolet lease dealer. Why? We believe in options over obligations, and we believe in the benefits of ownership without taking the market risk. That's the Kelsey way to drive a new Chevrolet. Together, let's drive at kelseychev.com.
Hot in one room and cold in the next? No ductwork? No problem. Carrier Ductless Systems will bring enhanced heating and cooling to your home. Go to Carrier.com today to find a Carrier dealer that can recommend the right solution for you. Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Baxa Tractor is Cincinnati's Kubota headquarters. Tractors, steer skidders, mowers, UTVs, and more. They have it all. Stop by their showroom for a Kubota today. Visit online at baxatractor.com.
New year, new possibilities. Find your perfect apartment home with BRG Apartments. Start fresh in 2025. Visit brgapartments.com today.
There's tons of reasons your next vehicle should be a Honda. At Honda East, we have great financing options available with hundreds of vehicles in stock to choose from, and every new vehicle purchase comes with our Life Care Plus protection plan. From SUVs to sedans, Honda ranks as a best value brand, giving you the most for your money. Visit Honda East, Beachmont at I-275 or at HondaEastCincy.com.
Laugh your boots off with Ginger Billy at the Lawrenceburg Event Center. Saturday, March 22nd, 2025. Doors open at 7 p.m. Tickets start at just $35 on Ticketmaster. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT or text INGAMB to 53342.
Don't get caught out in the cold. Call the pros at Oxford Gas today and schedule your propane delivery. Oxford Gas works hard 24/7, 365 to keep your family safe and warm. Call Oxford Gas today, 513-724-7700 or online at oxfordgas.com.
Become an Access or Metro Now operator. No CDL needed. Full-time, great benefits, including 14% paid into retirement, paid training, and a $2,000 hiring bonus. Apply today at go-metro.com/careers.
Want to save up to 80% on your energy bill? You've got to dig for it. A Climate Master geothermal heating and cooling system taps the constant temperature of the earth to provide heating, cooling, and hot water, keeping your home comfortable all year long. In addition to the energy savings, installing a geothermal heating and cooling system qualifies you for a 30% tax credit. Call Gehring Heating and Electric for all your heating, cooling, and geothermal needs. Call 812-934-6088. That's Gehring at 812-934-6088 and get digging.
This is Ralph's American Grill pregame sports talk, presented by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Pregame sports talk is brought to you by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. AE Door and Window Company. They sell the best and service the rest. Encore Technologies. Visit encore.tech. Cincinnati Asphalt, where precision paves the way. Your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com for all Toyota offers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Ralph's American Grill in Wilmington, Ohio. Just off 71, exit 50, inside the Holiday Inn at the Roberts Center. Now, pregame sports talk.
5:07 in the Queen City of Cincinnati. Chick Ludwig, 700 WLW and Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. Welcome to the Ralph's American Grill pregame sports talk presented by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And the eyes of the pro football world are on Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, where the Cincinnati Bengals and Pittsburgh Steelers collide in the final regular game of the 2004 season. And how big are the stakes in this game? They are sky high. The 10-6 Steelers have already clinched a playoff berth, but they can win the AFC North Division with a victory and Baltimore Ravens loss round. Kicked off at 4:30. Bengals to punch a ticket to playoffs. They must, the Steelers tonight, then get some help on Sunday. The New York Jets must beat the visiting Miami Dolphins, and the Kansas City Chiefs, who have already secured the number one seed in the AFC, must beat the Broncos in Denver. Both of those games are at 4:25 on Sunday. And here to talk about his favorite team, the Cincinnati Bengals, former Bengals legendary linebacker. Let's go down to Orlando, Florida, and we welcome in the great Reggie Williams. Reggie, Happy New Year. How are you?
Chick, it's always great to talk to you. And it's been a great year thus far, and I hope it continues all the way through the rest of this weekend.
Reggie, when you think of what's the first thought when you hear the words Pittsburgh Steelers?
The Pittsburgh Steelers were the defending Super Bowl champions when I first came into the league in 1976. And that 1976 season, they beat us twice and remained Super Bowl champions. So they've always been, in my mind, a champion caliber competitor. And one of my biggest memories is the next year, my second year in the NFL, 1977, was the year that Chuck Noll broke his arm slipping on the ice outside of the hotel in Cincinnati. And that's one of those crazy scenes because there he was, pregame, really unable to do anything. And George Perlis, who was the defensive line coach, yelled at our coach, Bill Tiger Johnson, because Bill Tiger Johnson had changed the sidelines because one sideline had sun and sideline did not. And so there was a before the game, and I'm in the middle of it with Mean Joe Green. And Chuck Noll, who broke his arm, really calmed everything down. But there's so much animosity with the Steelers from the first time I stepped on the football field, and I hope it continues tonight.
And Reggie Williams is with us, and Reggie, that is an awesome story. I had no recollection of that. Incredible. But these two teams have played.
Check it out in the history books.
Oh yeah. Now these two teams have played 110 times. Pittsburgh leads 71-39. And
wow.
How about the continuity of the Steelers? Like I told Tim McGee, I was 15 years old in 1969 when Chuck Noll took over as head coach. They had three coaches in 55 years: Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin.
That is an amazing factoid. I mean, there's no doubt that the reason that exists is because of the confidence they have in the leadership that organization provided for generations of Steelers players. They've all adhered to standard of performance. Tomlin has yet to have a losing season.
Yes. Yeah.
So it really is an amazing opponent. I will say when I listen to how lopsided the one-loss record is during my 14 years, I played against the Steelers 27 times, and my record was 15 wins, and there were 12 losses. So I upheld that my end of the bargain.
Oh, that is fantastic. Reggie Williams joining us, Cincinnati Bengal legend from 1976 to 1989. His career highlights and awards, just incredible. NFL Man of the Year, the Whizzer White NFL Man of the Year, Pro Football Writers All-Rookie Team in 76, Bengals 40th anniversary team, Bengals 50th anniversary team. Incredible. First team All-American in 1975 out of Dartmouth. Oh, Reggie, 6'1", 228. You looked bigger than that. We're the same age. Oh, man. And 16 and a half sacks in your career, 6, a couple of safeties. So what an incredible career. And I hope some of that, your winning record, carries over to give the Bengals some positive karma tonight.
Let's hope so, because defense is getting better. Jang Pratt is really, taking over the last couple of days. They don't have to play as well as they've been playing. The one thing that you can always say, when we played in the 80s and the 2 Super Bowls that we win in, both years, we had the NFL's most valuable player. One time with Kenny Anderson and the other time with Boomer Esiason, because we had 2 high-powered offenses. Yet our defense played. And, Super Bowl 23, we actually held, San Francisco to 3 points at halftime. So defense does win games. Offense is exciting, and, it's nice to do all those touchdown dances, but defense wins, and it determines the readiness for a team to play on any given Sunday.
And Reggie Williams joins us tonight. Awesome to have Reggie with us. And when you look at this offense by the Bengals, I mean, it's just absolutely mind-boggling, with Joe Burrow passing for 4,600 yards, 42 touchdowns against 8 interceptions. And the numbers that Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are putting up, just incredible. But you're right, Reggie. I think the defense has improved these last few weeks with this winning streak.
Yes, I think they've looked in the mirror and they've seen some of their weaknesses, and they're really scheming to not put themselves in bad situations. Obviously Logan Wilson is a loss.
Yes.
He's a great player and someone that we would love to have on the field tonight, but they have other players that have stepped up. And you're absolutely right. We could spend hours talking about how great our offense is. Joe Burrow